Prior to what happened 5 years ago today, few Americans who fly had ever given that much serious thought to the problem of bird strikes while in the air. But then, 5 years ago today, a plane landed in the Hudson River here in New York City, and Captain Sully Sullenberger was hailed as a hero for his perfect emergency landing. As we learned tonight, however, 5 years later, the threat to planes is still an urgent issue. Our report tonight from NBC's Tom Costello.
It was an ice-cold day just after takeoff when Captain Chesley Sullenberger radioed he was in big trouble.
This is Cactus 1539. Hit birds to lost thrust and felt passenger turning back towards LaGuardia.
Near the George Washington Bridge, Flight 1549 had just hit a flock of Canada geese, both engines dead.
We made it to the Hudson.
Seconds later, Sullenberger and First Officer Jeffrey Skiles pulled off one of aviation's greatest saves, landing a fully loaded Airbus on the Hudson River. Within just minutes, ferry boats were pulling passengers off the wings.
We have much to be thankful for.
Today, Captain Sully, crew members, and passengers returned to the Hudson to give thanks.
Had even one person not survived, I personally couldn't have celebrated any of this.
5 years later, much of the focus remains on the birds that still pose a threat. Since that day, airports have taken bird strikes much more seriously, and bird strike reporting has soared, especially in airports near bodies of water and near bird migratory flight paths. At Hartsfield Airport in Atlanta, bird strikes are up 45% since 2009. At Chicago O'Hare, up 47%. At LAX, up 58%, while in San Francisco, a 77% increase. Every day at Boston Logan Airport, 7 wildlife technicians use noisemakers and grow the grass at just the right height to keep away both the geese and the rodents that attract bigger birds. At the 3 major airports in New York, bird mitigation is a constant challenge. But on the river this afternoon, the survivors of the miracle on the Hudson raised their glasses.
So it's a lot of emotion, a lot of raw emotion, a lot of feelings.
Together, they toasted life. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
We're back in a moment with something not seen in over 100 years, the new additions announced to a very exclusive club. Some welcome news tonight for many of the parents who've been horrified to discover that the kids got hold of the iPhone or the iPad and made a whole bunch of app purchases without permission. The federal government has announced a settlement with Apple, which will refund at least $32.5 million to Apple customers, many of whom had no idea they were on the hook until the bill showed up, in some cases for thousands of dollars. We've put the information on this on our website tonight. A sad milestone in Afghanistan after this nation fought its longest war there. After so many failed attempts to eradicate the poppy, opium production hit a record high last year, up almost 50% over the last year. The Minister of Counter-Narcotics admitted it's such a tempting cash crop for farmers, they need to be provided with alternative livelihoods in order to eradicate the poppy. A bunch of folks in Southern California were awakened from a sound sleep by a 4.4 magnitude earthquake. It was located near Fontana. There was minor damage, grocery store shelves, some broken glass. Mostly, though, it reminded Californians that 2 days from now marks the 20-year anniversary of the Northridge quake. That killed 57 people, injured over 5,000, and caused $20 billion worth of damage. Speaking of infrastructure, a new Associated Press report finds the U.S. has 100,000 bridges that are, quote, old enough for Medicare, and their global ranking finds U.S. infrastructure in 25th place behind Barbados.